qualification of leads is something that is both an art and a science. You have to balance basically your ability to analyze and judge that lead with the hard facts and evidence that you gather about that prospect when you actually talk to them. And it's a skill that you have to build up. Otherwise, you end up wasting enormous amounts of time pitching people who have no intention or ability to buy. There are tons of tire kickers out there, especially when you're selling something technical, that will love to just basically use you as an information source, that will spend your time conducting demos, spend your time going over, all of your materials, all the stuff that you have, just to waste your time, just because they want to get an idea of, what this product or service is all about, to go somewhere else and ultimately buy from somebody else. In order to not waste your own time, you have to learn how to qualify people. And the way that you do this is there's multiple sort of techniques or strategies to qualification. The most blunt is simply to ask, hey, what is your budget and when are you looking to buy, right? I will typically do that in a sales process just to get an idea. You can phrase it very diplomatically. You could say, okay, before I get started and, we get way down this conversations road, I really need to just put it out there. Our products have a range between, let's say, 300 and 3,000. Okay. Are you comfortable with a solution in this range? You could just throw it right out there just like that. And if they say, no, whoa, that's crazy, I was thinking I'd spend $100. Right there that you can have a friendly, quick chat and get them off of your phone. You're not going to spend a huge amount of time talking to somebody that, does not have the money to buy what you're selling. On the other hand, they say, yeah, that's in our range. We were looking, our last website cost $5,000. Our last service cost $3,000, or we're spending $800 a month right now. Whatever the service is you're selling, you get an idea really quickly that prospect, that there's something there. It's not a dry hole. Okay. Now, there are some other probing questions you can ask. You can ask what the business's marketing budget is, what they've spent in the past on the same service, if they've spent in the past. How familiar are they with the service in question? And, when they respond, well, we're pretty familiar, you could say, so you understand that this service, is typically has a price range of X and Y. And you could phrase it in a way that, you're qualifying, but you're also saying, we're cheaper. You could say, yeah, typically this price range is $3,000 to $5,000. We clock in typically between $2,000 and $3,000, for example. And they come back and say, oh, that's great. That's within our budget, et cetera. That you've got somebody qualified. You have to be careful with qualification, in general, because you can be very rude, right? There's always that fear and kind of social anxiety a lot of people get about qualifying, other people and qualifying, businesses, because you don't want to appear as though you're rude and you don't want to blow a potential sale by being too money focused, right? Because in the sales process, if you're continuously focused on budget, and you're not focused upon the needs of your prospect, you're probably not going to make the sale either. So it's one of those things that's really crucial. Another thing that you really need to look at is the industry. If you are pitching, there's a lot of industries that it's just common sense that they're qualified. If I'm pitching, an attorney, a plastic surgeon, a known successful realtor, you can look online and you can Google people and you can look up their business and you can get usually a sense of how they're doing, and this is where sort of the art comes into it. It's not strictly a science. It's figuring out, is this business, if I see a restaurant and they've got 400 reviews, whether they're good or bad reviews, I know they're doing a lot of business and they've been around a while, so they're probably qualified. If I go and do the same search and I see no reviews at all and I don't even see the restaurant's name come up, and I know they're a brand new business or else they're a very obscure business, and then I talk to this person and they say, yeah, we're completely tapped. We just started up and we're looking at, options. Well, that, it's probably not a great prospect. It's important, though, also not to prejudge your leads, okay? Something that a lot of salespeople, it's a trap. It's a psychological trap more than anything that salespeople get into. And I've seen it not so much in tech, although it's there. I see this a lot in other industries where people, particularly, we saw this all the time. I saw it firsthand doing one call closing, going out to people's homes where you would drive up to a person's house. The house looked crappy from the outside. The salesperson in the car would say, "Oh, I'm not pitching this one. We're getting out of here." And then you'd see another salesperson that said, "I don't care. I'm going to pitch this person the best of my abilities anyway." And they'd walk away with sales way, way more often than you thought. And I'm not saying they were right 100% of the time, but some of the best salespeople I trained under, they used to say, if it's summertime and the Christmas lights are up, that's a good lead. Even though the house looks like crap, you can sell those leads. So when it comes to businesses, the same kind of thing applies a lot of the time, where you'll have a business that, maybe it has a bad reputation. Maybe it's a little bit obscure, but then you find out that the people you're talking to just bought it. You find out they just got a cash infusion and they're looking to upgrade the business. You find out that they're shopping for your service because they're looking to make changes because they just got money or business is picking up. So you can't prejudge, but you do have to qualify. Qualification is about conditions of the sale. It's not about whether somebody wants to buy from you or not. You're always going to face sales resistance. Qualification is about finding those businesses that cannot, getting rid of the prospect that simply can't buy or has no intention of buying from you. Those businesses where they just don't have a budget, where their time frame is 6 months to a year on making a decision, where the decision maker is not even who you're talking to. You'll have situations a lot where the person you're talking to is like a low-level employee or secretary or something like that, where they can't even make a decision even if you sell them. The equivalent of trying to pitch a renter in other industries when you're trying to do like home improvement sales, right? You can't sell a renter because they're not going to improve somebody else's house. Well, you can't sell the secretary because they're not going to spend money to improve their boss's business. It's the same exact situation. Now, a lot of the time, these people you are pitching are gatekeepers, though. So you shouldn't be mean and get them off the phone. You should impress them and get them to set the real demo with the decision maker. You have to handle these situations very delicately, right? Because each situation is different. Each business is different. And you want to go in there with the right intentions and to apply yourself to get the best possible outcome. Anyhow, that's going to conclude this presentation, this little video I wanted to do on qualification. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave some comments below. I'd love to hear from you.